It has been a long journey for us, both myself and my wife Amla, when we gave up our jobs way back in the 80s, started working and living, in fact, in the rural sector. It was a mess. Nobody believed in us. We had nothing, in fact. We lost our friends. We lost family support. Our bank balance was nil. And we were trying to do something different. Different implying that we were trying to look for ways in which it really made a difference to the lives of very poor people. I had taken Diksha. Diksha is a traditional word from Swami Nardanand, a self-realized saint in the 80s. He left his body in 84. And I used to put this question to him, स्वामी जी ये इतनी समस्याएं हैं पूरे विश्व में, इसका क्या रास्ता है? And a simple one-line answer was माध्यम चाहिए. We need a process of finding facilitation. I translated into facilitation. We didn't know what it is, but then we started working. Gradually, it led to what is now called the self-help movement. Self-help groups were evolved, tested, demonstrated on a large scale by us late in the 80s. And many of you might be knowing that they have spread all over the country now. So there are more than 1 crore self-help groups involving more than 10 crore families all over the country. And maybe you don't know that it has all started from Lucknow, from our small organization here. So it was in the 90s that people started coming to us. क्या है सेल्फ हेल्प? गरीब आदमी को सेल्फ हेल्प से कैसे उठा सकते हैं? And we used to take them off to the villages, show them. Gradually, the banks, the government came to know about it, and the government stopped all the schemes of development in 1999. And the only scheme that they picked up after stopping all of them was self-help. It was called Swarna Jayanti Rozgar Yojana. The entire country picked up the same scheme, and the banks, the National Bank of Rural Development, NABARD, RBI, they picked up this whole scheme and spread all over the country. Since then, since it was something very universal, we started inviting people from across other countries. First of all, Nepal. The whole Tarai belt of Nepal, the banks there came to learn from us, and they have spread it all across Nepal. We have spread the movement, we now call it a movement. It's over Kenya. They came to learn from us, they started in Kenya. In Ethiopia, particularly in the war-torn region of Tigray, the women fighters, when we went there, they used to cry because nothing left for us. We said, no, a process of self-help can change your life completely. Which means that we can't think of changing others unless we change ourselves. So there are many implications of this idea. Right now, for last almost 10 to 20 years, this idea of changing ourselves and then enabling others to change themselves is rooted in our belief, or let us say the Indian spiritual ethos, which is about raising consciousness essentially. It's about raising individual and collective consciousness. It's not just alone. It has to be done collectively. That is what we have been experimenting on last, 20 years, where we would give training to government officers, senior government officers, like block development officers, assistant development officers, village development officers. Then we would give training to senior managers in the banks, all banks across the country. We would give training to NGOs, thousands. So the center that is there, close to IIM, we have set it up as a residential retreat kind of thing where people come there for a week. They learn the art of self-help, but every time there is also a process of what we are now calling collective reflection in the morning, which we start by some yoga and meditation. We have been teaching this to ordinary people for last 25 years with absolutely beautiful results. You can come to our website and see that how people, ordinary people in the banks, government, NGOs, how it has transformed their thinking and work practices of how to connect with the very poor. The idea here is, and I got this inspiration from Vivekananda. In fact, I left my job after reading Vivekananda's biography. Vivekananda says that we are traitors if we do not look back to the poorest people. Having been educated on their behalf, he calls us all traitors. So I felt that I am a traitor. At that time I was just 21. And I decided to resign because I felt I was a traitor. I should go back and work for the poorest and find ways in which it could be done. So we evolved this concept of self-help, which really works. I would really love some of you to actually see how it works. What is the method? We call it facilitation. And so our method now is to identify local youth as facilitators of change. You could, any one of you, could way back in your own village, identify as committed youth. We can help you in getting that person trained. We do the hand holding. You can simply sponsor one young person in one village. And that is what will lead to definite change socially, economically, even politically. We require this kind of simple processes through which we can enable young persons across the country in villages through a process of guidance and training. But somebody needs to sponsor them because after all, there is a livelihood. They have a family. So this is a movement for us now, not just in India, but in many countries where we believe that the whole concept of poverty elimination, social justice, including environmental degradation, the process has to start from the lowest sector. We can't just leave everything to the government. It has to be based on participation of citizens. It has to be based on the building capacity of local people who themselves take this process forward. And it has beautiful results, let me say. So today, I just wanted to share this small story with you. It's a long story of struggles, 40 years of struggles now. We were threatened with life at many times. So it's not a simple process. We are threatened because when we are helping the poor, there are local vested interests. They don't want anybody to tamper the process. So that is why. And then once we started the process of self-help, we started self-help schools. At village level, we created dozens of schools, self-help schools, started by self-help groups, run by self-help groups. We were simply training the teachers, and most of it was being run by local teachers and mostly girls from various households nearby. So the process is a paradigm shift in change. We can't leave everything to some figure we don't know. We have to enable citizens, ordinary citizens, to understand that they all have a role to play in this process of positive change. Of course, education has a role to play, but we all need to understand that spiritual change is not just about changing ourselves. It's about connecting to people in a different way, in which we are equal, we feel equal, and they get empowered to do things themselves. Thank you.